I'm rusty or not. But I think in my statement here opening is, I appreciate the opportunity that, I was at Virginia Tech, came here to TCU, and I've known Gary for 38 years, so there's a lot of, emotion built up in that. He actually, visited, and I imagine you all visited on what the best situation was, and he asked me to, to be the intern, and I said I'd do whatever he wanted me to do, and I owed him that, and he said I'd like for you to do that, so that's what I'm doing. But I would say that the thing that I think that the state of Texas needs to understand, and certainly TCU, I worked for Bill Snyder for a short time and very close to Bill, but this is the house that Gary built. Let's to me, looking from the outside, and I've talked to several coaches throughout the country, and he's done an incredible job here. For coaches to stay 20 years or been here 23 years is unheard of in this day and age. It's not going to happen anymore. It's just the way the business is. And for him to stay at one place and do what he's done, he's an icon. And several people have called me that, he's a Hall of Famer, and it probably won't take very long to be a Hall of Famer. Very well respected in the profession, and I'm glad to call him my friend. Even though I didn't coach with him all these years, everybody thinks I coached with him, but I didn't, except for these last 2 years. But he's had a hell of a ride, and most coaches don't get to say that really, with what he's done, and I know that everybody's worked for him, everybody that knows him, there's deep respect, and there's no question, so yeah, ask Jeremiah about coaching. There's no question he'll be coaching again. Come on, y'all know him, and he'll be coaching. I don't know what it'd be coaching. He says, Coach, I want to be a consultant, and then after what I heard today, he may not want to be a consultant, so I never, maybe a consultant's not the same thing, but anyway, he's special, and I hope that you all understand that. And what you see sometimes is not what you get behind closed doors. There's not a more caring person in the world and more loyal person in the world than he is. And just look at the track record of how many people have stayed with him. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Jerry, how do you keep the team engaged these last 4 games, especially, and the staff for that matter, especially with such a big coaching change going on?
Well, I've done it a long time. I think that helps. I know I feel like that, we just went to business. Gary said, go to practice. We went to practice, and we carried on regular business. And, coaches all understand, we understand where we're at. And the way you do it is like anything in life. You roll your sleeves up and you go to work. And that's what we've done. I mean, our coach staff right now is doing a heck of a job with preparation and getting ready for Baylor. And, we got to get some healthy kids. I think that's the biggest problem we've had all year. We just, we've been beat up all year. And, but as far as the transition goes is, I think that's a lot up to me, and I've been through it. I've built programs and built them up, and this is unusual to take one over with 4 games left, but really the principles and those things don't change, and you just do what you do, and you owe it to the kids, so every coach in there, we didn't get into business back, I got in it 40-some years ago. I didn't get into business for money. I got into business for kids. And most of those people sitting in there have gotten into business because of, us older folks, I guess, have gotten into business for kids. And our coaches are going to bust their butt for the kids. And so, I guess to answer your question. Did I answer your question?
Coach, speaking of transition, we know Coach called the plays on defense. Have you thought about how that transition will work Saturday? Who's going to be calling the defense?
Well, I think, it'll be, we visited about it. Chad's the defensive coordinator and has been, and then, he'll be working with the staff. We haven't sat down and just said, where we're at. We're trying not to break too much of that up, but, there's always been a couple people involved, Now, Gary being the man, so to speak, there's always going to be a change there, it's going to be different. But, I think our coaches have been so well trained by Coach. I mean, they've been in there every day, and for I don't know how many years, his blueprint is on that thing. So I think we'll be fine.
Coach, have you had a chance to talk to the team yet, and what has your message been to them, and what's the mood like in the locker room right now?
Dude, I started coaching that team. I don't know, Gary said we're going to practice at 5:30, and I was coaching the team at 5:30. And like I said, I've taken programs over before, so it's not something that, I talked to the offense, defense first, talked to the offense before they started, and then I talked to them as a group, and thought it went well. And, I think the kids here respect me. I've been around them enough, and, we'll go to work today. Got a good game plan, and we'll go to work today and get after them. And, nobody's going to be Gary Patterson, all right? I don't plan to be Gary Patterson, or anything like that. There's only one of them. There'll never be another one, okay? But, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good people too, and I'm just going to be me.
How's the morale and the atmosphere with the kids?
What's that?
How's the morale and the atmosphere with the players?
I think, anytime you set a room and you're not going to have your head coach, I think they were crushed at first, but, I think probably the best thing we did, and I wasn't sure about it, was go to practice and get started, and, we'll see a lot more today, where they fit and how they feel, but, I haven't had, talked to several of them yesterday, and I haven't had any negative feedback whatsoever, and, we've been, Jeremiah talked about recruiting. We're still recruiting. We got our recruiting people recruiting, our coaches, and trying to hold kids in and talking with them. And you're always going to have kids in a bit. We're trying to say, hey, stay in here with us till we get the new head coach in. And some of them are going to open up their recruiting, which is natural. Timing of hiring a head coach will be important. But we're not stopping, not trying to help TCU. That would not be fair to Gary. And, we got to carry on his legacy. And so if we just stop not doing anything and, everybody thinks everybody's out looking for a job, that's not happening right now. We're working, and, if you work and you do well, then the jobs if you're out of a job, you get a job a lot quicker, if you're doing your job here. So, we're doing everything, just like we're going to be here. And we all know in college coaching that's not going to happen. You all know that when a new coach comes in. I had to do it myself, 3, 4, 5 times, where you have to go in and talk to the staff, and, it's not easy to do, but you're going to bring your people in most of the time, but you'll hold on to a few. But we're the worst thing we can do is let it slide, and that doesn't look very good. And we got plenty. We're young on offense, and basically we sat in here and had 55 kids that sang the fight song for the first time ever, here at TCU. So it's not like the cover's empty. It's just beat up, really beat up. So, that's our job. We're here to represent TCU. Gary's going to represent TCU. He loves Fort Worth. He ain't going anywhere. And so we let him down if we didn't get those kids to play hard. But that's our job. We got to get the kids to play hard. That's what we have to do. It's what, and I have to lead our coaches. That's what we have to do. And get the morale going. And we'll see if we can do it or not, you know? That's part of the challenge. I like challenges though.
It's probably been a long time since you answered a quarterback question, but have y'all talked about Max and Chandler this week and who goes there? And
Shoot, I had that question asked every time, every week of Minnesota. You know, everybody wants to know who the quarterback's gonna be and that kind of stuff. I'm really not ready to answer that question. I'm not dodging the question either, but, you know, right now, you know, Max, everybody knows he's been playing, you know, with a bone fracture and, you know, it's starting to take its toll on him. There's no question about that. Don't rule him out or anything because we could have done that last week and he just keeps fighting and so forth, but we're also not gonna put anybody in harm's way either. And so, today's gonna be an important day on that evaluation, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll make that decision and move on. But, that's being honest as I can tell. I wish I could tell you, but that's as honest as I can tell you right now, because, you know, I need to see how Max is today.
Jerry, just you've been around the industry for so long. Just how much has it changed with the NIL and the transfer portal and whatnot? And you know,
Yeah, I was head coach, I guess, 6 years ago. I don't know, somewhere in there, 5, 6 years ago, and my whole life changed. And you know, I've never seen anything change in the last 6 years like it has when I was coaching in Minnesota. It's unbelievable. Most time it takes 10 or 20 years. I mean, this game's changed in the last 6 years more than any game I've ever seen. And you know, I don't know. I'm not who's making all these decisions and all that kind of stuff, but it's you know, it's made the game harder. You know, and more time for the coaches, and you know, it's you know, you gotta, you know, recruiting makes it difficult. How you gonna coach a kid? You know, you get on him, is he gonna enter the portal? You know, after when, you know, so there's a lot of questions there, yeah, and it'll be interesting how this all goes. I'm not sure everybody knows how all this is gonna go, cause it's like, are you gonna put a cap on likeness?
mm-hmm.
You know, they did in the NFL. You know, there's caps in the NFL, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep it the same? So, I mean, it'll be interesting what happens over the next 5 or 6 years on how all this is handled, because it puts a lot of pressure on, you know, everybody.
We'll go 2 more questions.
Coach, can you give us some preview of Baylor, what you're seeing out of them on tape, how they've improved from last year to this year?
Well, I think, you know, it's a lot of the same guys that we played against last year. The problem is, you know, we're running into these teams that, you got guys that are 6 years, you know, they're playing 6 years. And we have a young team, and that's the same thing with Baylor. They got a lot of holdovers. Oklahoma State's got a lot of holdovers. I can just keep going. But, you know, they got that big nose guard, you know, from LSU, and he's going to be, you know, he's going to be hard to handle. But our center's fired up about it. You know, that gives him a chance to showcase his talent. So, but they're aggressive on defense. I think coach has been able to put his blueprint on it in a year's time. And, you know, they're playing good football right now. And anytime you're winning, you gain confidence. And as you gain confidence, all of a sudden you think you're pretty good. And then all of a sudden you're pretty good. And that's kind of where they're at. And, you know, we'll have our hands full. We understand all the stuff that's gone on. But, again, it's, you know, our job as a coaching staff to make sure that doesn't happen. And it's not going to be easy, but last time life isn't easy. There's no guarantees, and you know, you got to handle adversity. You can't handle adversity, then you know you're not gonna make it in this world. So we'll be fine, and we'll be playing for Gary Patterson. You know, over the next 4 weeks. I mean, that's our job. I mean, that's what we need to do.
Last question.
Yeah, Coach, on the note of Baylor, just with how close you were with Gary, is there any part that's hard for you emotionally to just turn around and have to get your team ready for a game after all that's happened the last couple of days?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of emotion, you know, a lot of emotion, you know, I mean, but it's my job to represent him and TCU, and so I can't sit around and feel sorry, is there emotions deep down, and is there emotional, you know, on, what was it, Sunday? And yeah, there's emotion, and it's difficult, it's a difficult profession, and, you know, he'd be disappointed, he knows me, he'd be disappointed if I sit around and feel sorry for myself, and feel sorry for him, and all that kind of stuff. 5:30 told me he needed me to do the job, and that's what I've done. I've just been straight ahead, and I got all kinds of text messages. I don't know. I can't count them all. I haven't returned one of them. I ain't got time. You know, I ain't got time to return text messages. Don't worry about me being on Twitter. You're not gonna get hold of me on Twitter, Facebook, whatever other stuff's out there that I'm not gonna deal with it. So you can say anything about me. I guess somebody already has it. I mean, I can't figure that out at all, because I'm not calling plays, all that stuff. And I'm just kidding with the beach and all that. But the point is that I ain't got time to do all that stuff. And I've got to make sure that I take care of the football team. Why I'm here is because of the players and Gary Patterson, and I've been asked to put in this position to do it because I love, and I've coached all my years for the players, and I will continue to do that the best of my ability over the next 4 weeks, and that's all I can do. Give you all my best, and give Gary all my best, and administration. That's my job at TCU.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, I appreciate it.